everyone, welcome back to Creekside Homestead, Alaska. And today, still nice and a cold wintry day, but today we are going to get started on our 2026 garden plans, which means getting the she shed back to I need to get some stuff cleaned up in there and get ready for gardening. It's time. And today is the perfect day. I'm actually a tad bit behind, but as you can see, we are in the she shed. So excited because it is time to start our 2026 garden planning. And that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to talk about what our plans are, what we're going to do a little bit different this year, maybe go over with you guys what I plan on putting in the garden, which is going to be pretty lofty. As you've seen in my other videos, I'm trying to maximize every bit of space that I have on our property for growing vegetables, herbs, medicinal plants, that sort of thing. So I've got big plans for this year. So we'll talk about those, and then we'll just go over what I'm exactly, everything we're going to put in the garden, the varieties, where I buy it from, just a good old garden chat. So I think what I'll do first is just go over with you guys how I start my garden planning. It's just I put everything on my laptop computer, and then I print out what I'm going to do. The very first thing I do is I have a layout right here that I keep every single year. I think it goes back to like 2021. And I put all the garden beds. I design based on what we have in the garden and what I want to add for the year as far as garden beds go. So I get that going, and then I do a spreadsheet. All I do is list out all the vegetables that I want to grow this year, flowers and herbs. And then it's just got each month on it, and then I write in when I plan on starting from seed, when I plan on transplanting, or direct sowing. So that's that part. And then I also have a notes section on here, and I try to add to it. I've already updated it. I just haven't printed out a new one. But I add to it every year with notes to help me for the following year. So that is a super, super helpful. And then once that's done, I have a calendar. I actually usually buy a calendar every year, and I did not this year, so I just printed it out for each month. And then I write in the dates that I plan on starting, either indoors, direct sowing. You'll see this is February, not much happening this month, but then it's actually not true. I'm about to add like 3 or 4 more things on here, but it just gets more and more goes on it until that's April, May, and the big month, June. So anyways, so that all goes right up here. And then I just tear it off after each month. And then this one will go up here because I will be referencing this a lot and probably printing it out, quite a few versions of that. And then just also, I have a spreadsheet in that lists every variety that I grow. And I make notes on those particular varieties of vegetables, flowers, and herbs. And that will determine how they grow and if I plan on growing them again. So this is like super, super helpful. I think our growing season is about 110 days on average. So we have to do a lot very quickly. And I am starting to learn more and more about cold weather varieties that are ideal for up here in Alaska. So I'll be trying a couple more of those this year. So that's that. And this all stays out here on the wall because I am out here a lot in the summer. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Hopefully I didn't speed that up too much, but it really is. I'll put pictures of each of those spreadsheets up so you can see them a little closer. But I just created them my own, so there's not a link or anything to them. But it really is really easy for anyone to do. So now on to the fun stuff. Go over, I'm growing a lot, so I'll try and do this as quick as I can, but go over what exactly I'm going to be growing. If it's new, I think I've got a couple of new things. A couple of things might not have made the list this year, but I am doing something a tad different. So let's get going on that. So what I am doing a little different this year is we get these heirloom storage seeds that are meant for long-term storage. And I usually get a vegetable one, and then we also get an heirloom medicinal, which has medicinal herbs, some tea flowers that you grow for teas. So I usually keep one of each on hand. I was reading up on these. Now we just keep these in a dry, cool area of our pantry, and they last for 3 to 5 years. I was reading up a little bit more. I've been trying to do a ton more research this winter so I can get the best bang for my buck. And I read that if you keep these in the refrigerator, I think it was the refrigerator, they can last up to 10 to 15 years. Don't know why I didn't know that before. So these are from 2023 is when we purchased these. So we're going to go ahead and we are just going to use these up this year, along with what's in my seed boxes, which are also, I think the farthest they go back is 2023 as well. So I'm trying to get through what I have. I did buy a few things, but not many this year. So I'm relying on what I have, and hopefully with everything we're going, we'll get some good germination. Now I know some stuff may not germinate because they're from 2023, depending on what it is. Most things can last for a good 3 years. But there are a few things that don't, like onions. Onion seeds and lettuce seeds tend to start slowing down around the 2 to 3 year mark. So we'll see how this goes, but there's going to be a ton of growing because these things are full. And I'll show you what I mean by full. Oh, I haven't opened this one yet. So yeah, this is brand spanking. Well, not brand new, but this is just what's in here. This is 55 seed packets. It's a lot of seeds. Not to mention what I have in here. And I also have a seed storage packet. Well, those must be from 2022 then, if this is 2023. Storage ones in there, so I will be labeling them by year, just so I know what's gonna grow good. So that's that. Oops, forgot one. So we'll be planting as much of these as possible, and I will be growing a lot, so I'll probably end up selling quite a bit. So that's that bag, and this bag has it's heirloom 55, so it's got 55 different seeds in it. And I'll try to link this. We just tried buying from them again, and they are always sold out. So we ended up buying a different one. Sean just placed an order a couple days ago. because we need to get one in storage so that we have them on hand at all times. But this has all your basic stuff in it. It's got asparagus, beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, bush beans, butternut squash, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, celery, cucumbers, tomatoes, squash. It even has melons in there, watermelons, onions, okra, beans again. So just all kinds of stuff. It's really useful to have on hand. And then this medicinal one, it's got basil, all your normal herbs, parsley, mint, chamomile, thyme, oregano, tarragon, which I'm not familiar with, so I need to learn up on that. Peppermint, marjoram, rosemary, sage, chervil. I'm not familiar with chervil, so I'll be looking that one up. And if any of those don't fit into our way of eating, like I said, I'll just sell them. Lots of basil, coneflower or echinacea, lavender, cilantro, chives, catnip, which should be interesting, dill, anise, and fennel. So that's what's in there. So let's get going. And like I said, I'll try and go through this fairly quickly. First up is our beans. And again, these are from an older storage, so those will definitely be labeled. So it must be 2022 for those. We've got pinto beans, provider green beans, lima beans, and Blue Lake bush beans in those. And then I have a new variety that I have not bought before. These are from 2025, and they're Antiqua bush beans. And these are from M.I. Gardner. I buy a lot of stuff from him. But Antiqua bush, so I'm excited about those. And I got 2 packages of those. Landreth bush beans. These are another new variety from 2025. All right, next up are beets. One of my favorite things. Now, normally I buy a case of beets from Azure every year. Last year I didn't have to do that, so that was pretty exciting. So of course I'm going to grow more beets this year since we did so well last year. Now, I do have a couple of beets in my order that I just placed 2 days ago. But for what I have from 2025 seeds, oh, these are 2023 seeds. So Cylindra beets, those are always a pretty good producer for me. So I'll have to get another pack for next year's garden. But for now, I have plenty to use these up. These Bettina beets are so good. They're really good. And these are all from Baker Creek, but these are really good. These are 2025 seeds, and I don't have very many left. I think I might have ordered another pack of those. Oops. Lost my footing there. All right, Crosby Egyptians. These are 2023 seeds. I do need to get more of these. I'm almost out, and I don't think I added these to my list. So these I'll definitely have to get some for next year, but these are a good producer. New ones, Ruby Queen. I did grow these last year, actually. These are 2025 seeds, and I had an extra pack, so I'll be using those. And then this is a new one, Forma Nova, and these are from M.I. Gardner. These are 2025 seeds too. So I think the only thing that I ended up getting, if I remember right, are golden beets, because I have just a few left of these. These are Winter Soon. Guys, these are so good. Ended up being one of our favorites. I had another golden beet and used up the entire packet, and we ended up getting, I think, canning 2 or 3 quarts of those, because I only dedicated a couple of small rows to golden beets because I'd never grown them before. Well, these are, golden beets are getting their own little half bed this year. Last year I did one long bed, in one small bed. And our long beds are 4x8 and our small beds are 4x4. So I did one long bed, one short bed. This year I'm doing basically 2 full beds of beets. I'm dedicating a big bed and then 2 of the smaller beds to beets. And one of those are strictly for golden beets. So excited about that. And with those beets, that was so another thing I want to do this year, getting a little sidetracked. Okay, so I brought my map back down here because another thing I wanted to do this year more of was companion planting. I have been doing a lot of reading, and I always grow nasturtiums or marigolds with every bed, regardless. But this year I want to go a step further and see. We had some issues in our pepper greenhouse with aphids. I think that's really the only major problem we had. But having said that, I'm just trying to get better at that every single year. So the beets will still only have nasturtiums and marigolds. And the beans, so in the beans in front of the bush bean plants, I'm going to be placing strawberries in with those as well. Even though I have a full strawberry patch, supposedly they're supposed to grow good together. So we're going to try that. Next up is broccoli. One of Sean's very favorite vegetables. So I'm trying to do a lot more research on that. We have been doing fine with getting broccoli heads for the summer. I just haven't produced enough to be able to blanch and freeze any to get us through the winter. So I'm still having to buy broccoli. So I would like that to change. We have been reading up on more and more of that. So hopefully I make some changes to that this year and we get some more production. We are going to keep them in one of the same spots, which is next to the tomato greenhouse, next to the new potato patch that we had. We're going to grow them in there. And then I also am going to try growing them right next to the strawberry patch. So we'll see how that goes. And then if I have to, I'll have some extra grow bags that I can try growing in there as well. But so I do have 2 things of broccoli in my order that should be here in a few days. One of those is a purple broccoli. I just like growing new things. So that's a new one for me, purple broccoli. And then also a broccolini that I love. I love broccolini. So, but other than that, we're going to do the Calabrese, which is standard every year. I think it's your kind of go-to. These are 2023 seeds, so hopefully these will still germinate. I have another little broccolini one here. These are from 2023, so I did get a new one just in case. Rasmus broccoli, this is from 2025, so if the Calabrese doesn't do good, this should take its place. And a new one for me is Romanesco. I'm super excited to try this. Never had it before, so I don't even know what it tastes like. I'm assuming it tastes like all the other broccolis, but so yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. And that's a 2025 seed. And then from the storage, which I now know is 2022, just the Waltham 29, which is, I think, another standard broccoli. So that's it for that. Cabbage. Now, last year was not a good producing year for cabbage. I don't know if it's a cycle thing or what, but the year before I got really good cabbage production to where I was able to make my sauerkraut. I was able to have fresh eating all summer. It was a good year, but last year, just, I don't know. So cabbage is going to grow in with where the broccoli is going to be going in both places. And we'll see if I might have to start some in grow bags as well. But I have a lot of bok choy. I've got baby bok choy. I've got Napa cabbage. I've got regular standard bok choy. So I'm going to do that this year again. And I think why I didn't get enough brassicas last year, I think I got them outside too late. They love colder. They can handle a frost if necessary. So I'm going to start them, I can't remember, I think it's April. I'll be starting them inside. And then I'll get them outside as soon as I can possibly get them outside. They may have to go outside in grow bags, and then I'll transplant them into the beds once they are thawed and ready to, we can handle the dirt. So, or soil. All right, so that's cabbage. And then Mammoth, Red Rock, Golden Acre, which is just a standard cabbage. These are all 2023 seeds. Yeah. And Copenhagen Market cabbage. I think I did put a cabbage in my order because these are 2023, and maybe that's why they didn't do so well last year. I don't know. But we're going to give them another try this year. Actually, this Copenhagen Market is 2025, so I should be good to go. And then we have from our storage more Golden Acre, Red Rock, and Chinese cabbage. Like I said, it's going to be a very full garden this year, and I will probably be selling a bunch. All right, next up is carrots. Now, this is all I have left for carrots. So I did place I've got quite a few packets coming, I think 3 or 4 packets, and we will probably use up every bit of those. And then there's also carrots in the heirloom one. So as well as broccoli, all this stuff I've talked about so far, I also have in here. So we should be good to go. So for carrots, they're gonna go, I think I did 2 beds last year, 2 full beds, and I'm not doing that this year. I'm going to be doing 1, I think I got it down to 1.5 beds. So I got 1 big bed and then 1 of the smaller beds. And the big bed is going to be strictly storage carrots. And those are my imperators and my Danvers. And there's Danvers in that storage bag, in the heirloom bag. And then there's also some Danvers from 2022. But I did get another packet just in case these don't germinate. And then imperators, I got, I think, 2 packets of those because those are a really, really good storage. And then for fresh eating during the summer, we have Scarlet Nantes. I think I'm saying that right. Which are also in the heirloom bag. And then I got Kyoto Red. And these are from 2024, so these should be fine. And those are really good tasting fresh carrot. I did try storing these. They don't store well. So that's carrots. Cauliflower, same problem with those as with the broccoli and the cabbage. So I did a ton of reading actually just last night, and I did realize probably what I'm doing wrong with these is when I'm starting them. I start a lot of things on a warming mat to get the germination going quicker. But I think last year I left these on a warming mat after they sprouted, and that's not good for brassicas, I read. So this year, I'm gonna get them started on the warming mat, and then as soon as I see them pop, I'm gonna take them off of that and throw them under grow lights. And then that's supposed to stop them from being leggy, and it's also supposed to help them get stronger and produce better. So hopefully that will work on that. So for cauliflower, I just have the snowball cauliflower that came in our little seed storage packet. And I think that that's all that's in this one too. Yeah, the snowball. And then I have a self-blanching. This is from 2023. And I did read for cauliflower. I read for cauliflower. Mine, that flower, they opened up really quickly. they didn't necessarily bolt. They just didn't stay compact like you get heads of cauliflower in the store. And they were still fine to eat, and we ate them in salads and, you know, stuff like that. But I was reading, and this is Rober cauliflower, but I was reading that as soon as you start seeing them form a head is when you're supposed to fold the leaves over, and that will help with all of that. So I'm going to try that this year. That's it for my cauliflower. Collard greens, one of our very, very, very favorite vegetables. We absolutely love collard greens. So I've been growing these for quite some time, and I used to grow like 3 or 4 varieties, and I have narrowed it down to our favorites. So this is not something that I will ever experiment with in growing collard greens. These are just the 2 varieties that I like and that we will always buy. So Champion collards, and I've got 2 of those, and then Georgia Southern collards, and I also have 2 packets of those. Now 1 packet's from 2023, so I don't know how well that's going to do, but all the other ones are from last year, 2025. So we're good on those. I didn't have to buy any more of those. But I will have to stock up. I will be doing a huge seed supply order next year. And I will probably do it as soon as everybody opens up their ordering. All right, cucumbers. Oh, and collard greens. Those are, I'm dedicating a whole half bed basically to collard greens. But I'm also going to do a tiny bit of companion planting in there. I want to try some celery and some dill in there, along with marigolds. We'll see how that goes. Cucumbers. So cucumbers, I will be getting a raised bed for these, for sure. I've learned a little bit more about cucumbers. Again, they did fine last year. They did good, but I want more so I can pickle more. So we're going to do our Early Fortune. These are 2024. Our dark cucumbers. These are all pickling. These are 2023. National pickling. These are from last year, 2025. More national pickling. A Wisconsin pickling. These are 2025. Homemade pickles. And those are all of my, and then pickling, Boston pickling. And then my slicers, I've got Ashley cucumber and Straight 8 and Market More from these. And then I also have Straight 8 and Market More and pickling Boston in here. So those will stay in that greenhouse with the peppers. They'll be on one side, and in there, so in with the peppers and the cucumbers, I will be putting some sunflowers in there, which I'm really excited about. Some basil, marigolds, nasturtiums, and eggplants. So eggplants, I read, I didn't have issues with cucumbers, but with the peppers, had some aphids later on in the season, really once they started fruiting. So I read that eggplants are supposed to be really good for that. And we're also going to get some ladybugs, which is another reason why I want to switch over to raised beds. Herbs. Most of my herbs are going to be coming from this year. So I don't think I got any herbs actually on my order. But in here I have lemon balm, holy basil, which I think it's past well, this says 2024, so I'm going to try it again, and purple basil. But then all my other stuff, parsley, oregano, all that is in here. Mustard greens. So I do a ton of canning greens, and I can all my leaves, like my broccoli leaves, my kohlrabi leaves, my mustard greens, collard greens. I don't mix kale in with it because it's a little too delicate to go in with all those other ones. But yeah, they all get mixed together, and I do a lot of canning greens. I still have like, I think 8-gallon bags in the freezer that I will be canning next week actually. So that will freeze up some freezer space. So I'll can those to get ready for our new stuff. And I mean, we had fresh all summer long. And then I still have 2 full bags inside of the house that aren't for canning that I cook fresh, I guess fresh. So yeah, we go through a lot of greens. These are old Tokyo Komatsuna mustard greens, and then red giant mustard greens, which I think I ordered both of these again. So we'll have plenty of those. Kale, another huge favorite that we love to have in the summer, fresh kale salad. There's nothing like it. So like the collard greens, I've learned what I like in kale. The only 2 types of kale that I like are blue curled Scotch. That's from the storage, which is also in that Heirloom 55. And then, yeah, blue curled Scotch. I have lots of it. And then my other absolute favorite is scarlet kale. This is absolutely stunning in a salad if you mix the 2 together. And it tastes just really, really good. So those are the only 2 that I will get. Kohlrabi. I did grow kohlrabi last year, and I got, I think, 2 bulbs. But we got a ton of greens out of it, and they are really, really good. So I'm going to be growing them again. I think I planted them too deep last year, so I need to watch how far down those go, because you want the bulb to actually grow above ground. And I think I just got them in there too deep. So white Vienna and purple Vienna. Those are the only 2 I get. Lettuce. I do have lettuce in my order, which I'm probably sure I probably didn't need to. But lettuce is just one of those things, you know? So I have a salad bowl mix. This was a free packet from In My Gardener. If you buy so much, they give you free seeds. Same way with Baker Creek. But I have some butter crunch and another mix. These are from 2023. So this is why I got more seeds. Because these are probably not going to germinate very well. We're going on year 3. So we'll see. I'm going to try. But I definitely wanted to have a backup. These are also 2023. This is a head lettuce, a Great Lakes, which I actually really like. I have another one of those, and these are also 2023. This is a romaine, 2023. That's a new one. And then I have miner's lettuce. So I'm actually excited to try that this year. This is a 2025, but I didn't grow it last year. And then my other very, very favorite lettuce. I love this lettuce. I will always grow it. It's called Merlot lettuce. Again, it's really, really pretty in a salad, and it tastes really, really good. So that will always be on my list. And then romaine. I've got just your standard Paris romaine. This is 2025, so these are going to be fine. This is a crisp mint romaine. That's 2025. This is a little Tom Thumb dwarf bib. Now this will be going on my deck. All the other ones will go I have tiny little garden beds or raised beds attached to my arbor. So those will go in there, and I'll be growing something else pretty cool in there. And then this is endive, which I've never grown before. So this is from 2025. Excited to see what that does. For peas, mostly all I grow are Sugar Daddy snap peas, and then I am also going to be growing some Green Arrow shelling peas this year. I want to grow quite a bit of those. And so the shelling peas are going to go all along the back of the fence of that really long garden bed that we're still working on. But I think that the peas will do pretty well there. So we're going to try those. I did do a sample. I think I did like, I don't know, 10 last year up along those, and those did fairly well. So I'm going to just use that whole fence line for those. And then I'll get tons of sugar snap peas. We love eating them fresh out of the garden. My little grandnephew loves having them fresh out of the garden. He comes over and just goes on his own and goes snaps a pea off. And then, of course, if you watched our videos, you will know that River loves them too. And she likes to just go snap them off as well. So she will have a dedicated space so that she can just go eat them as she wants. If you're new here, River is our dog child. So that's it for that. Last box, guys. I told you we're doing a lot this year, but I am determined. So hot peppers, those go in a smaller greenhouse. And I will be getting at least one raised bed. So I'm going to try and I am going to get 2 raised beds for sure in there. If I can swing 4, I'll end up getting 4, but I'm going to definitely start with 2. Or maybe my wonderful hubby will build me some. That would be awesome. But for hot peppers, we are doing our standard Craig's Grande, always a producer. We'll probably always grow these. These are from 2023, so I don't know how they're going to do, but we'll see. These are 2024 seeds, and these are Tam jalapenos, another standard. I will probably always grow those. I will always grow these. These are Black Hungarians, and one of my very favorites. These are from 2024, so they should be fine. My absolute favorite is Sugar Rush Peach. I will always buy these. I just placed another order because this is all I have left. I have plenty for this year, but just in case. We'll never run out of these. These are cayennes. So these are 2025 seeds, cayenne peppers. These did surprisingly really good. I did not even think at all. I think I only did 2 or 3 of these. I didn't think these would produce. I just didn't think we had long of enough season for it. Well, we do, because they grew really well. So I will definitely be doing these again. And I did place an order for chili peppers as well, because I want to try making my own sriracha sauce. So I'm going to grow those. Pumpkin spice jalapeno, another really good one. I'll probably always do these as well. These are 2025, so they should be fine. Then we have pepperoncinis, banana peppers, datil peppers, which these are from Baker Creek. And I also have some from our seeds. So datil peppers are kind of known to only, I don't know if they only grow, but I know they're originally from St. Augustine, Florida, which is where Sean is from. So we had his family ship up some datil peppers so I could get the seeds out of those and grow those. And we're getting better. We were not optimistic at all because they just take a very long time to grow. So we work on it every year. My brother-in-law has been growing them at his place. So between the two of us, we're determined to get these to work up here. These datil peppers from Baker Creek are good. They just taste totally different than the ones in St. Augustine. So, but they're still a good pepper, so I'll still grow those. And these are just your standard early jalapenos. Another one, and then a Sandoval Hot. These actually did really well last year. So we'll see how they do. I think this is 2023. So we'll see if those grow again. Sweet bell peppers or sweet peppers. Red Marconi. These didn't do great for me last year. I did order another packet because I wanted to try them from, I think I got them from In My Gardener. So I want to try his and see how those do. And then I've just got your yellow bell peppers and your regular Keystone Giant bell peppers. And these are Advarsky. I'm probably not saying that right. The thing with the peppers is I started them too soon and they got root bound and it pretty much stunted their growth. So I'm going to stick with the calendar and I'm going to start them when they're supposed to be started. And I usually go by Farmer's Almanac Planting Guide. I'll try to find the link. But you put in your zip code and it gives you all of the dates to get started based on your last frost date. So I'm going to stick with that because again, I get antsy and I want to just start stuff. Well, I'm not doing that this year. I'm really going to have some willpower and try to do this right so we can get the best production. And I'm pretty sure that's where I went wrong last year, is because they don't like to get root bound from what I read. Radishes, those also go on the deck. Oh, and obviously the peppers are going to go in the greenhouse with the cucumbers. The bell peppers, I'm not sure where I'm putting them yet. I don't know that I'm going to put them in there with the hot peppers again, but we'll see. They might go in with the tomatoes. So radishes, I've got two varieties that are actually for fall. And I think it's these two. Yeah, so these you're supposed to plant in late summer. These are cooler weather. So I planted them in the spring, which is why I didn't get any of these, I'm guessing. But anyways, these are Chinese red meat. These look super cool. So I'm going to plant them late summer and see how they do. And then red beauties are also late summer. I didn't try these last year. So I'm going to give those a whirl. And then the rest, I always do really good with radishes. Don't really have any issues with them. I start them as soon as the soil is workable. As soon as I can get these puppies in the ground, they go in there. So early scarlet globe, the sparkler white tips. This is an Easter egg blend. And these are from 2023, but all the rest of them are from these are 2024. And these are 24. That's those. And then these are, I'm not even going to try and say this. Well, I'll try. No, I'm not going to try that. Those did pretty good last year. And then watermelon radish. And then in the seed storage bag, I got French breakfast and your traditional cherry bell. So that's that. And then winter squash. Okay. If you've watched a couple, you know my thing with melons. I am determined to grow melons in zone 3B where I live. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I've done some research. I'm going to grow them behind the big greenhouse, which is kind of where I grew them last year, but I'm going to put a trellis system up this year so that they can grow vertically, which hopefully will give them a better chance of growing. I did get little ones last year. I just don't think they got enough sun. Yeah, I just don't think I put them in a good area. I just need to do better. So I'm going to get pumpkins or some type of winter squash. So these are what we're going to try. We're going to try sugar pie pumpkin again. We're going to try, I don't know how to say it, something kabocha. Just looks like a really cool. Jack-o'-lantern. I'll probably only do one each of these to see if I can get them because I have so many varieties. Golden Hubbard squash again. This one did start to grow. I just didn't have enough time. And I really want that one to grow. This one, I've heard, this has such good reviews. It's called Sweet Meat Squash. And I really want this to grow. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful my changes will help. 2 new ones, Kakai Pumpkin. And this little sweet little dumpling. What's it called? Sweet Dumpling Squash. And then I've got some acorn, some butternut, and small sugar pumpkin. We'll see. All right, tomatoes. Yes, I still have a tomato problem. I love tomatoes. I love growing tomatoes. So, believe it or not, I did not buy one single tomato this year. Not one. Because, well, this is because. Okay, so I've broken these out. These are all my little cherry tomato varieties. And we've got just our peach cherry vine. These are from 2025. These are new, so I didn't do these last year. Black cherry, I will always do these every year. My very, very favorite. Large red cherry, just your standard cherry tomato. Sunrise bumblebee. These did really good last year, and these taste really, really good. So I'll probably buy more for next year. I've got plenty for this year. More black cherry. Black strawberry. These are actually pretty tasty too. So I'm probably do these again as well from now on. Cherrylicious mix. This is from 2025. I don't think I did these last year. No, I didn't do these. So I'll be doing those. And then we've got our large red cherry from our seed storage. So anyways, for our determinants, I try to mostly buy tomatoes that I can, whether it be paste or whether it be a dual purpose one, because that's my main reason for growing as many tomatoes as I do. And I'm growing more tomatoes this year. So that is one of my sole reasons for tomatoes. Now, we do love our fresh tomatoes in the summer, our slicers. So I do grow, I think I'm growing 2 varieties this year for slicers. But so this is a subarctic plenty. This is supposed to do good where we're at. And this is a new one. So this is from 2025, but I didn't grow this last year. So I'll be growing that. An Ace 55, this is one of my slicers, and it did good last year. So do that again. This is a Rutgers. This is a dual purpose. I grow Rutgers every year. It's kind of I think it's a standard growing, garden tomato. Mountain Princess, this also does good up here in Alaska. So pretty sure, yeah, I grew these last year. I just have quite a bit of them. Another Mountain Princess. Manitoba, I grew these last year. They did pretty good. I think this year I'm going to try growing one outside and one in the greenhouse just to see. Another dual purpose one, which I will grow every single year, is Cherokee Purple. They're so good. They're so good in sauce. They're so good as slicers. They're pretty. They do really, really good when I mix all my tomatoes for my sauce. They just make an excellent sauce. So those will always happen. Striped Roma tomatoes. They're a paste tomato. I love these tomatoes, and so I'll probably continue to grow them. They do fairly well for me. So well that I have a lot of them. So there's another one. Fireworks tomato. This is a new one for me. This is 2025 seeds, but I did not grow them last year. And they're supposed to be a dual purpose. So I'm excited for those. This is another new one. It's a 2025 seed, but they're called Black from Tula tomato. I'm really excited to try these. Hopefully they do good. This is a slicer, Wood's Famous Brimmer. Didn't do great for me last year. It's kind of more on the beefsteak side, I think. I'm going to try it again. I'll probably just do one and see how it does. Bread and salt. Love bread and salt tomatoes. They get huge. They're massive and they taste really good and they're excellent in a sauce. So do those. Comstock sauce and slice. Obviously a duel. Those did pretty good last year, so we're going to give those another shot. True Black Brandywine. These did okay last year. I might stick them in a different location of the greenhouse to see if they do a little bit better, but we'll give those another try. Abe Lincoln. Didn't have very much luck with these last year. They're supposed to be a dual purpose, but if I run out of room, these are probably not going to make the cut. So we'll see. Hungarian Hearts. These are another one that gets massive. We actually, year before last, we got one that weighed 1.8 pounds. I mean, they're huge. And they do really, really well in sauce too. They're really good. Korean Long. This is the, well, besides the Abe Lincoln, which I'm on the fence about, but these are definitely not probably going to make the cut this year. And it's because this is the only tomato that consistently gives me blossom rot. I have no idea why. They don't get treated any different, and I don't even know what to do different for them. So they're just not worth the space. So these are not going to make the cut. So I do have that one, the striped Roma paste tomato, and if I need to, I'll get another packet of paste tomatoes, but I think I'll be fine. I don't think I need to get any more. And then I've got from the storage, we've got some yellow and red cherry tomatoes and more Rutgers. So yeah, I can't believe I did not place one single tomato order. So next year is going to be massive. Oh, so the summer squash is going to go next to where the collards and the kale are. And that's right outside of the, they're going to be in a small bed. If you know, if you grow zucchini, you know you don't need to grow very many plants. I usually only grow 5, which is probably too much. So I think the only thing I placed, no, I didn't get any zucchinis this year. I'm pretty sure I did not get, not one. But we've got some Nimba zucchini here, some golden squash, Emerald Delight, which I have 2 of these. These do really well. The golden zucchini, I will probably always do over. Now I do have, I think from the storage, I have some straight neck squash from the storage seeds, but I probably won't buy those anymore. I probably will stick to golden zucchini. They hold up way better than the straight neck yellow ones do. And I love the flavor of them. So I'll probably always get these and phase out the straight neck yellow. But I've got some more. I did my own seeds last year, so we'll see how these do. This is just a, I think this was a Black Beauty zucchini, a Nimba, and yellow squash. So again, we'll be fading these out. We're almost done. We're almost done. Turnips. Actually, there's rutabaga in there. Wrong one. Turnips, unless turnips are in here, they are in here. So I probably will do a couple. I still have some turnips in the freezer from 2 years ago that I need to use up. But if they're in that storage bag, I'll use them. This is rutabaga. Have not grown rutabaga, and I want to give it a try. So that's on the list for this year. This is a late one. I had the seeds, but I wasn't going to do them. But since I went a different direction, I'm trying to use up what I have. I have to find a spot for these. So I don't know where they're going yet, but they will go somewhere. Okay, one of the things I'm excited about is on this arbor where I am going to be doing the lettuce in the garden beds. I'm going to try and grow loofah. I tried it in the small greenhouse. It didn't do anything. So I'm going to try it again. And going over the arbor, and I'm going to try and find some vining flower, an annual that does well. But that's not a priority of mine. I'll probably get something from one of the garden centers. Brussels sprouts I will be growing. Again, we were doing so well last year with the Brussels sprouts, and then the chickens got into my garden and destroyed every single Brussels sprout plant. I didn't know if they were going to have enough time. I wasn't sure yet, but man, they went to town. So I'm gotta make sure they don't get in my garden this year. Celery, like I said before, we're going to be growing those in with the collards. Swiss chard, I'm going to try growing again. I think it's going to go in that long bed next to the strawberries. Fennel is also going to go there. More Swiss chard. And then I've got some Black Beauty eggplant and this tiny striped frog. They almost did good last year. I just don't think they had enough time. So I'm going to try growing them a couple weeks earlier. And like I said, they're going to go in the small greenhouse, and then I'm also going to plant them out just to see where they do better at. I think that's it. No. Melons. I skipped over the melons. I don't know how that happened. I sure did. Okay. Melons. Another one that I want to grow really, really bad. So this year I'm going to try putting them in with the peppers and cucumbers along the back wall on a trellis. The one thing that did good in there last year was this cucamelon, and they're so good. They're tiny, tiny, tiny littles, and they look like watermelons, and they taste like cucumbers. They're so good. They're really, really good. So we're going to get that trellis set up on that back wall. That's where those are going to go. And I'll probably try some of these. I have a lot of melon packets that come in the seed storage. So I don't know. I might try growing them and selling a bunch. This is Sweet Siberian. This is a new one, 2025 seeds, but I didn't grow them last year. So we're going to try those. It says 80 days for maturity once they get transplanted, so I'm hoping we have enough time. Banana melons. I haven't grown this before. This just looked like a funky little new thing to try. So we're gonna try these. They are supposed to have like a banana flavor, a banana smell is what it says. So we'll see. We're gonna try those. And then just your standard honeydew. I love honeydew, so I'm hoping that grows. And then in the seed storage, I've got Sugar Baby Watermelon, Crimson Sweet Watermelon, Hale's Best Jumbo. I've got 2 of those. And those are all Crimson Sweet Watermelon. So there it is. That is our lofty garden goal for 2026. And what time is it? It's only 2:30. So I think I'm going to have enough time to get these onions started, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for sticking with me. If you're still with me, it's going to be fun. So just follow along with us. Let's see how this journey goes this year. Like I said, it's a big plan. Lots going in the ground, and it's going to be a busy, busy summer. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how much we get produced. This will be fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.